This content is for educational purposes only. Do not attempt the techniques shown without proper authorization. Unauthorized use is illegal and can lead to severe legal consequences. Stay ethical and responsible.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Redfox Security channel. I am Tarak, a security consultant of Redfox Security. If you are into ethical hacking, penetration testing and cyber security, you are in the right place. At Redfox Security, we specialize in offensive security, penetration testing and hands-on cyber security training, helping individuals and businesses stay ahead of threats. Today we have got something exciting for you, an HTB Live Challenge Active Directory Edition. If you love Hack the Box, you are going to enjoy this. We will be working through the Active Box, where we will cover what's in the store, live enumeration and exploitation of an Active Directory environment, practical privilege escalation techniques using in real-world pen tests, and a chance to ask your questions live and get expert insights. Whether you are new to AD hacking or sharpening your skills, this session offers hands-on experience with real-world attacks. Grab your notes and let's dive in. Alright, so this is Tarak Sakardande, but before we are going to solve a normal box that is related to hack the box that's active. So that is something that is basically very simple, and so we are going to start off with certain techniques like, first of all, enumerating. Then we are going to enumerate all the shares, and then there's also Kerberoasting, and also there's GPP. So in summary, let me just type it off. So we are going to start with the enumeration of shares. Then secondly, what we are going to do is basically enumerate group policies. So we are going to do somewhat of a GPP exploit. And the third one being, we are going to do Kerberoasting. So these are three simple techniques. So active is basically includes all the three of them. Let me just open the chat in case, so that I don't miss out on anyone or any of your comments. Let's move on. So let me just spawn the machine first, and by this time I have set up all of my VMs. As you can see, they are set up. So let me just connect through OpenVPN. So just start off with Kali, sudo swing, and yeah, here we are good to go. So the first thing is we have got a machine IP, alright. So let's just before we start off, let me just brief you as to what this machine is about. So active is basically, it's a easy to medium difficulty machine which features like two very prevalent techniques to gain privilege within the environment. So I mean, that's it. There was a good description back in time when I saw that, but never mind though, we'll just start off we'll go ahead. So first of all, I think I have set up my VPN on Windows. Is that the case? No. So what we'll do is, I have downloaded the VPN file from Hack the Box over here on my desktop, as you can see. The next thing that we are going to do is just connect to the VPN. Alright. Alright, so by this time I think I'm very much connected to the VPN. If I ping to this IP address, I must be able to access it. Yes, as can be seen. So everything's working for now. So the first step, we are connected with the VPN, everything is set up that we need from Hack the Box. The first thing that we are going to do is basically, everyone knows it somewhat, so you are going to run the Nmap scan. So why Nmap scan? Because we need to know more about the target as to what all stuff is really going on. So, let me just type one of these. So like Nmap, then 10.10.10.100, and let me just give it some flags real quick that we need, like SC and SV for version detection. We don't really need an output though, but if you want you can, which is with OA flag, and that's just a log if you want to. Yeah, that's it, we're good, and let's just run our Nmap scan on the IP. It might take a while. Yup, and here we are. So you can see that there are a lot of ports that are open, and the first one you can see is 88, that's Kerberos for you, and then there's LDAP 389, and also there is DNS 53 that is set up on a domain controller which is running version Windows Server 2008 version. So at this point you really know that you are actually working with an Active Directory environment as of now. So, and also you can see that it's running Windows Server 2008. So people might get enough of clue as to what all things are going to be discussed over here. But we are going to start off with different things, like for example we are going to first enumerate the shares. But before we go into that, we can see that the domain name is active.htb. So before we just start off, that's a good practice to always make sure that you add active.htb. You can just copy it though. I was planning to type it, though it's fine. Nano, and we will go on /etc /host. We just move here. I have already added it, so I'll just active, and yep, that's it. We have to do this configurations, but I'll still do it for you one more time because I feel like. So that's it. If you now Control X and we save the file. Now we're good to go. So we already resolved all the issues with the host name and IP addresses at this point. So let's move on for actually enumerating the shares in an anonymous way. So for that you can use crackmap exec. By the way, if you could see, this was one way of actually getting the domain name where the LDAP port was giving away the name. You might also use crackmap exec smb 10.10, this command, just to know the version in case. Yeah, that's it. You can get that the domain name is active.htb. Now we will try to enumerate certain shares and we'll see if there are any anonymous ones. So likewise, so at this point we don't really give it any username or password. Great. So you can see that there are a number of shares which are actually accessible to you, and that includes replication, where you have the read permissions as well. So I will just walk you through more things as we proceed. But first, what you guys have to do is first of all enter into the share. So before we do that, we are going to use a simple SMB client, and you're going to go like 10V because we have to access that share. I'll just copy it. If you have a fast typing speed like mine, you can skip that part though. 10.10.100, and you can go for replication. So it tells us to like provide a password, but you are not going to give it anything. And you can see that the anonymous login is completely successful. Now, when you actually try to traverse to this share, there are a lot of things, right? There's active.htb, and you can like cd and do stuff as like that in that way as well. But what we are going to do is, I want to take all of those folders that are present in the replication replication share, and I want it on my local Kali. So to do that, I would use these commands, that is recurse-on, which tells it to go through each directory and then copy all of those files and then get it to me locally on my Kali desktop. And then the next thing that I want is just something that you could follow. I don't want any additional prompts to pop. So, and once that is done, you can like enter this command. So at this point, it will start downloading all the files and save it locally on your Kali system. So see, it has started already doing that. So what this actually machine is all about, it's basically teaching you to actually enumerate shares in an anonymous way. And secondly, it's actually telling about the group policy issues that were faced by Windows back in time. So what used to happen is, okay, let's get into the theory part in a bit, because we have already retrieved the files. So there's like, we'll get to it. If I exit it right now and if I ls, you can see that I have got active.htb. Now if I move here and I ls it, you can see that I have got all of those shares that were actually present in all of those files or subfolders or directories that were present in the replication share. So let's just move on to the policies part right now, and you may see that there are two files that are present here, two policies that are being set. So let's just go to this part. Now you can ls again. So we are basically traversing inside the replication share, which we found had anonymous login back in time on crackmath.exe. If I move on to the machine part, and if I ls, you can see that there is a preferences folder, and then there's groups, and now there's groups.xml. Great. Now you can see that there's a C pass value, and now this is the point where I was actually very eager to tell you guys as to what all things are really happening on the machine. So first of all, what used to happen back in time in Windows, like Windows Server 2008, as you could see, whenever they had implemented a technique where administrators could set up group policies and still embed password values inside all of these group policies. So what exactly happened is that whenever there was a group policy set, there's a groups.xml file which was created inside the sysvol folder of the domain, sysvol share of the domain controller. So to summarize these things, whenever a group, these guys actually made a technique where you could set a group policy which could contain administrator credentials as well, and that was present in this file, which is present in the sysvol folder of a domain controller. But in our case, it is in the replication share. That's the only difference. And again, now the issue here is that you might just start celebrating at this point where you think that this is your password, but actually it's not. So that is actually a group policy which has the C password value, and you have to decrypt it in a way. So what Microsoft did back in time, they encrypted it using an AES key, but unfortunately that AES key was actually was static, and it was made publicly available so that people actually got to know, and it was very much easy to decrypt it. So let's just decrypt it for now. I will proceed with the other steps. So the first one was enumerating SMB shares. The second one is now the GPP exploit. So let me just use the GPP decrypt, and I will give it the string, and you can see that the C password has been successfully decrypted, and we get the password of the user. So at this point, we have two things, that is svc_tgs, we have a domain user, and I will just open Notepad, and we have a username which is svc_tgs, and we have the password as GPP still going strong. I think I copied it though, or maybe not. Okay, just making notes. So at this point, I would really want to cover certain things as to doing it with a Windows machine as well. So let's just move on. I'm just following a different technique, because in a pen test you might have you are dealing with Kali as well as you're dealing with Windows. So let me just get the VPN off from my Kali at this point. Yeah. Down, and let me just connect through. All right, looking good. let me just see if I'm able to ping it. 10.10.10.100. Yes, I am. So let us proceed with the further steps. And I would like you guys to actually download Rubius for it. Alright, they are not bad. Okay. This one that, if I'm not wrong. Been a long while I have used Microsoft Edge. Okay. So at this point, we have our PowerShell, and we can just like change the directory. All right, let's just load Rubius. Then Rubius, we have to ask for the TGT of this, and let's say /user /password /domain /dc and /p. These are things we are good to go, I guess, with the syntax. Do correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. So I have made notes of the user. So let's just try to inject our first user, that is svc_tgs. Let's move on with the password again. Alright, and let's like mention the domain, which was active.htb. Let's just give it, I'm not risking it though, so I'm just going to give it here as well. The DC was 10.10.10.100. So basically we are injecting the ticket, and you can see that now we have the session of the user svc_tgs. So always remember, even in pentest, let's say you compromise a machine account, or let's say a domain user, you always need to map. Once you are in a domain, you need to know more exploitation paths and more stuff. So all of you guys must be knowing by this time, there are two enumeration tools that are very commonly used. That's called PowerView, and the second one, PowerView AD module, and the third one is your Bloodhound. So let's just simplify things. The kind of will be a small Bloodhound tutorial as well for you guys. So I'm making sure that we are really using tools that are not really noisy as such, but at the same time I'm trying to make it short and sweet for you to solve this machine and understand as to what all stuff that we need to do. So let's just download Sharpen. Sharpen will help us to like enumerate the domain in a much better way. I usually prefer to have the 1.1.0. This one is what I'm talking about. So let's just download this. Feel free to ask any questions, completely fine. So I'm going to extract this here. Yeah, that's done. So now we will just cd, and then yeah, we are here. And now what we can do is actually run the Sharpen tool. But if we do it in the traditional way, it won't work because we are on a non-domain joined machine. So it's like how do I say this? It would have been much easier if we were on a domain joined machine, but we are not actually on a domain joined machine right now. This is my machine, but I am in the network. So we have to give Sharpen certain syntaxes. So likewise as follows, so that it connects to the domain. So first of all, we give it the LDAP username, which is svg_svc if I'm not wrong, TGS. And then we give it the LDAP password, should be this, and dash domain controller, and we give it the domain as well. Alright, that is something that we are very much set. Or am I missing something? Let me know, because syntaxes can be very long sometimes. So LDAP password, and we have the domain. Great. I think that should do it. Yep, I missed something. Yep, I did not give it the IP of the domain controller. So silly from my side. I think everything's set. Yep. So let Sharpen do its magic. It's collecting all of the domain data, and what we are going to simply do is transfer all of this domain data onto our Bloodhound, which is actually present on our Kali machine. So let's do that. So this is a very short box, but I'm still making sure. Why Windows specifically is because I'm just making sure that even you guys understand certain techniques that you might follow in your pen test as well. So let me just give it some time to load. It's giving us a lot of errors, but it's saying that it's completed now. Let me just drag and drop. Okay, so we are all set up, and now let me just run Bloodhound. And in order to run Bloodhound, there are two simple commands. Also, if you want to know how to configure or install Bloodhound, that is something, there are simple commands that's just available on the Kali network. Yep, as can be seen, these are just the commands that you need to run. And you're good to go. Next, let me just start it off. I have configured Bloodhound already on my machine. You can also do that on yours by just navigating to that URL which was mentioned, this one. And yes, that's like a small Bloodhound tutorials for you while we solve this box as well. Alright, so we are all set up now. So let me just this screen is visible. Let me just pull in the Bloodhound data that we got. It's finished. Let's just So let's just try to map out any attack paths and find if there is anything. So this was the domain user that we got, but as can be seen, there's really no any path to the domain admins. Like, let's just try to even understand as to what all domain admins are present as well. So you can see that the administrator is actually part of a domain admins group as well. So there is this, and again there is a simple one, so which is a part of this lab actually, is finding all the Kerberos table accounts. And as you can see, there are two users that are actually Kerberos table. So at this point you already know the attack path that we are somewhat going to follow, and that is get user packet, get users SPNs dash request dash DC dash IP 10.10.100. But again, at this point it won't work because my VPN is actually connected to my Windows machine. So if I go back here, let me just run the OpenVPN command. Great. So requesting, and then let's just say we have active.htb, and then we have, what do you say, the user which we wanted, that is svc underscore tgs, the target. So let me just give it the password, which was gpp still standing strong, and press enter. So you can see that now we have actually got the TGS, that is the TGS, and which is encrypted with the hash of the service account. So what we are going to do is simply we are going to actually attempt to crack this, and this will be something that is available on the internet as well. So let me just go to hashcat examples. And I'm just going to use hashcat for now. And if I search for this, you can see that it belongs to Kerberos Phi, that is 13100. So now what I'm going to do is simple. We are reaching the end. I'm just going to copy this, and we are going to use mousepad and hash.txt. Did I miss a symbol? Yes, I did. Yep. So that's something that we are going to use. And let's just use hashcat with the module 13100 13100 -m hash.txt, and then we'll supply it the username that we need to do. I'm in the word list, rocku.txt. So let's just attempt to crack it. As can be seen, we have successfully able to actually crack the ticket, and we have got the password as ticketmaster1968. So at this point what we are going to do is short but simple. So there are different ways that you can actually take the flag, but there's a simple one where you can use psexec, and in psexec you can provide the, what do you say, active.htb /administrator, we give it a colon, we give it the password as ticket9 ticket. I don't know why I'm missing the first letter. Something which is pretty weird. And we give it the DCIP, that is 10.10.10.100. So at this point we will be able to take the shell. Let's just give it some time. So first of all, we started off with enumerating the shares, where we had anonymous login. From that we actually did the GPP exploit, where we could find the C password value, which was stored in the C password value again, which was stored in the share replication. Now what we did, we used GPP decrypt in order to decrypt the password. We got the domain user, we used Bloodhound in order to gather the domain data. We then transferred this domain data to map out any paths that we could take from the domain user. And the next part was actually we could find that the user, the domain admin, was actually Kerberos table. So let's just move on to the next one. And if I do ls right, oh my bad, it's Windows, can't ls. Did I just do it on system 32? Yes, it's my bad. Okay, let's get the shell again. Hello bro, anonymous, how are you? Cool. So let's just say which user I am. You can see that we are running as anti-authority system. In order to get the flags, there are some simple things that you need to follow. If you move on to the users directory, let's say, and then to the administrator. Yep. And now if you there are a lot of directories as can be seen. Okay, so let's just go to the desktop. Yeah. And now if I just dir it, you can see that there's a root.txt file, and this actually contains the flag of the machine active. So that was it. You can like cat it and then use the flag and submit it, and that's how you actually pawn the machine. So I hope you liked and enjoyed the video, and we are coming up with a lot of these things, and there is a series of try hacking as well, which I am going to cover with Hack the Box as well. So you guys just stay tuned and have a great time ahead, and there's a lot of content that has been pushed and put forward by Redfox as well. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, as well as there are some premium courses which are offered on academy.redfox.com. So I am Tarak Sagar Dande again, sorry to fumble my own name, but I will see you in the next one. Yes, thank you.